Okay, so now it's time to create a function which actually renders the content. So render page. Function, which we'll call render. And inside of this function, first of all, we have to globalize our p variable, which will be sent through the URL, and globalize our s parameter in case there is any. Now we're going to create a variable called row, and we will assign the result of another function which we create shortly called fetch page, and we are passing just the p variable into this function. Now, if is an empty row, which means if the page has been found, we are going to create the content variable and assign the value populated from the database, row content, to it. And then we simply use our push layout function, and we pass the content as a parameter so that it puts actually the content in between the header and footer. And that's basically everything at this stage. We will be expanding this function a little bit later on, but for now, that's all we have to do here. Now, as you remember, just a second ago, we've created the function fetch page. So let's create this function now. So get page record. Function fetch page. And it takes the identity of the page. So we create a SQL statement which reads select all from pages where identity equals, and we're going to use single quote, and then we close our statement. Now we are going to use SQL, and we add to our now we're going to add to our SQL statement by using SQL escape function to make sure that whatever we pass, even though we know that this is something we are passing, no one else will be able to pass, let's pass this identity to the SQL escape function to avoid any kind of problems with the database. And we're passing identity through this function. Then we use SQL. We carry on with our statement. So closing single quote, and simply to make sure that we just get one record, let's type limit 1. Now we create a row variable and create another use the function we've created earlier in the previous video, function called fetch 1 to just populate just one record, and we pass our SQL statement to this function. Now we return, depending on whether the row has been found, whether the record has been found. If it wasn't, obviously it's going to be empty. So if it's not empty, return our row, otherwise return null. Okay, so we have everything that we need in order to populate our first page. So now if we open our browser, just to check, HTTP, I have it under multi-page form. If I refresh the page, as you can see, nothing's happening. If I go back and open our index.php, obviously nothing's happening because I didn't call our function. So all I need to do now is to call our render function. So render, and 2 brackets, save it, go back to our browser, refresh, and as you can see, our home page is now populated and displayed on within the browser. So next video, we're going to have a look at how to actually start with our survey.